As High Priest, your opinion is highly regarded. Tell me, what do you think of the idea of bringing the Ark of God to Jerusalem?
Israel is ruled from Jerusalem. Certainly it would be most fitting that the Ark, the symbol of God's presence among Israel, also be located here.
Then it shall be done. The occasion will be a scene of great rejoicing, an imposing display. You, as High Priest, shall see to it that a good representation of priests from each tribe attend the moving of the Ark.
Yes, Your Majesty.
And Scribe, you will send messengers throughout all the tribes of Israel, calling the princes and leading men to assemble at Kirjath Jearim for the moving ceremonies.
Your Majesty appears very happy, aglow with holy zeal.
I am, Your Grace. Long have I cherished the hope that the Ark would be in the capital city. My dream is about to become a reality, and I am filled with great joy and zeal. Is all in readiness for the moving of the Ark?
Your instructions have been fulfilled to the letter, Your Majesty.
And the Ark has been placed upon a cart?
Yes, Your Majesty. A new cart drawn by oxen.
Who is in attendance?
2 of the sons of Abinadab, sir.
The musicians?
They have practiced and are prepared to play the ceremonial march.
And the line of march?
According to your instructions, sir, first comes the Ark. I and my fellow priests follow. The musicians come immediately behind us, followed by the princes and men of Israel.
Let us take our places, then, and begin the ceremonies.
Slowly, the great procession begins to move.
Glory be to the God of Israel!
Glory be to the God of Israel!
Reverence to his holy name!
Reverence to his holy name!
With solemn gladness, the vast procession wound its way along the hills and valleys towards the holy city, Jerusalem. Long had it been since the land of Canaan had witnessed such a glorious and victorious scene. And the procession passed Nacon's threshing floor. Suddenly...
What is it? What happened? High Priest, what happened?
Your Majesty, it appears that Uzzah, one of the attendants of the Ark, has been struck dead.
But why?
I don't know, Your Majesty.
The stroke of death must have come from heaven. No doubt about that. But why would God permit such a thing?
Your Majesty, this is Ahio, son of Abinadab. He, with his brother Uzzah, was attending the Ark.
What happened, Ahio?
Uzzah is dead, struck down from heaven.
Yes, but why? Why? What did he do?
Nothing, Your Majesty, except steady the Ark when the oxen stumbled and the Ark was about to fall off the cart. Instantly, Uzzah was struck and died.
Thank you, Ahio. You may go.
The people have grown restless, fearful. What are we to do, Your Majesty?
Oh, I wish I knew.
Shall we continue to Jerusalem?
Well, I hardly think so, Your Grace. For some reason, we've displeased God. Let the Ark remain here, if a place can be found for it, until we've discovered what we've done wrong. Then perhaps shall the Ark be taken on to Jerusalem.
I shall be glad to have the Ark placed in my home, Your Majesty. I am Obed-Edom, a Gittite, Your Majesty.
Do as he suggests. Place the Ark in his care.
Yes, Your Majesty.
And dismiss the multitude. Tell them to go home. The ceremonies are ended.
As His Majesty wishes.
When you're back in Jerusalem and have had time to meditate and study, come to my private chambers. I wish to talk to you about this.
Why is God angry?
You may be seated, Your Grace.
Thank you, Your Majesty.
I've been thinking about what happened to Uzzah and studying on the matter.
So have I, Your Majesty.
What did you discover?
We handled the movement of the Ark entirely wrong, Your Majesty.
What?
Not at all in keeping with the specific instructions given to Moses by God himself.
You mean that Uzzah touched the Ark?
It is to be touched only by the descendants of Aaron. Uzzah was a descendant of Merari. But further, Your Majesty, the Ark is to be moved on the shoulders of Kohathites, and we were transporting it on a cart.
But striking Uzzah dead, do we worship an unfair God? Is he so strict that one mistake brings sudden death?
The wage of disobedience is death, Your Majesty.
But why? Why? The striking down of Uzzah brought sorrow and sadness to all Israel. It turned the happy throng into one of grief and mourning. The sudden terror turned their gladness into fear.
But it may be that a great blessing to all Israel will result.
The death of Uzzah turned into a blessing?
Yes, Your Majesty. If we are made to realize that the commandments of God are made to be kept, we should have reviewed carefully God's instructions regarding the ark before we prepared to move it. God's commandments are not grievous. They are right and necessary to life and happiness and salvation. Perhaps it may seem to some that the judgments of God are unjust and born of a harsh, unyielding God.
Such a feeling have I had in my heart.
Banish such thoughts, Your Majesty. For by one sin Adam gave dominion of the earth to Satan and plunged the world into sin, wickedness, sorrow, death. The only salvation comes with obedience to God's will. The sudden death of Uzzah, because of his presumptuous sin of touching the ark, emphasizes the importance of keeping the simplest of God's commands.
I see that now, Your Grace. God is just and merciful and full of compassion.
Perhaps His Majesty will now give the command once again to assemble the priests and men of Israel to bring the ark of God to Jerusalem.
The ark now, in the home of that Gittite. How does it fare? And the Gittite, how does he fare?
He and his family have been greatly blessed, Your Majesty.
Then shall I be blessed, and all Israel, when the ark rests in the capital city of God's chosen people. Order assembling of the priests, the princes and chief rulers of all Israel. We will bring the ark into Jerusalem.
Again the chief men of the nation were summoned and assembled about the dwelling place of the Gittite. With reverent care the ark was placed upon the shoulders of men of divine appointment. The multitude fell into line, and with trembling hearts the vast procession set forth. Again the long train was in motion, and the music of harp and cornet, trumpet and cymbal floated heavenward, blended with the melody of many voices. As the triumphal procession approached Jerusalem, the watchers on the wall and the marchers burst into joyful psalms.
Lift up your heads, O ye gates, and be lifted up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in.
Who is the King of glory?
The Lord strong and mighty, the Lord mighty in battle. Lift up your heads, O ye gates, even lift them up, ye everlasting doors, and the King of glory shall come in.